good, you don't fight it.
Back at the marina, we're on the boat. It is April, and the winter is over. The weather is nice, and we are prepping the boat for our big trip down to the Bahamas. So we came back, and our first step is to move our boat over to our main marina at Penn's Landing. Right now we're still at Pier 5. And over at Penn's Landing we have a lot more room to get around it and wax the boat and everything else that we need to do. And we just like being there too. So that's our first step. We came back to the boat today. There's a few little things I want to do before we move it over. Once we get there, I'm going to do the oil change and everything, all the major things I need to do for a long trip. But just to move it the half mile that we need to do today, I do want to check on the rake oars, make sure this fuel, the filters are good. I'll check the oil, maybe check the transmission fluid, and just a couple other little things. Make sure there's some air in the lines for our steering. Not air in the lines, air pressure for the steering, and stabilizers, things like that. Just a couple of quick things.
Just make sure everything's up. And it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Always sunny in Philly.
At least it is today, thank goodness.
So one of the things we're going to try to do a little bit better this year is our videography. I don't know if you know this, but last year we shot just about the entire season on my smartphone, a Galaxy Note 8. And you can kind of tell. I mean, it did a decent job, but it wasn't very good in certain situations. We had some flickering and bright sunlight, and well, anyway, we decided to try to step up our game a little bit. So we're filming right now on a camera we bought. We got the Lumix camera mirrorless to use for our main videography, and we got a couple little accessories. We're going to try and shoot with a gimbal whenever possible. This is a gimbal for the Lumix. We also got a gimbal for the smartphone in case we feel like using the smartphone from time to time.
We had that.
Yeah, you could see some of the things we did last year. We did have a gimbal on the smartphone. We had this. And then we also picked up this DJI Pocket. This is, we saw a lot of good reviews on it. It's very small, but apparently it does a very good job filming. And Lynn wanted something she could just toss in her purse, pull out when we want to do something and be a little bit incognito, or at least just not in everyone's face with big contraptions like this and shotgun mics. And
it doesn't weigh down my bag either, so I don't have to bring out the big bag every time we go out. It's really little. I like this. So, I'm excited to use that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this.
And then, because a lot of people wanted to see more docking footage, so I picked up this cheapo kind of GoPro knockoff.
So I came to check the rake cores, and I noticed one of them is low there. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's not the one that we were using at the end of last season. You can see the valves are shut to it. At least the output is shut. So I'm assuming it might have siphoned back to the tank a little bit. Not really sure, but I'm going to pull the filter and top everything off, and I'll look at it more thoroughly later after we move the boat.
Oops.
That's a little dirty. It's not terrible, but I will change them. I'm not going to change it right now because I'm not really going to use this, but I do want to top it off. Let me just... And I think I'm going to clean them thoroughly before we go on the trip. I'll take it apart and just clean everything and put it all back together again.
It's got the date that we cleaned last time on it.
When was that? Beginning of last season, right?
3/25/18.
Okay.
The duct tapes.
Okay, well let me, here, why don't I take the camera, and can you go over and hit the pump for the tanks, for the fuel tank?
Nothing.
Okay. We're not going to trace the wires. Some breaker has to be off someplace. I just can't think where.
It's not off to a good start, sir.
They definitely do not run on 110. What's beeping when I do that?
The upper helm. I'm gonna go look. So what's the deal?
Nothing, just looking for a blown fuse someplace. I've never opened this before, so there are fuses. Fuel pressure switch. Shall start.
It went well at the end of the season. There was no problem.
Okay, well, get me my voltmeter and let me just check these fuses.
Oh, shit dog.
It's like, I think this, I'm almost positive, I tried to trace the wire. Almost positive that's, I don't know. It's why it's not wired to a fuse and it's wired to the generator switch, I do not know. I can test the power on the generator's battery. Maybe that went dead, and maybe it's coming up here because it gets 12 volts instead of 32. It's just a guess, but I'm going to go check that battery and make sure it's good.
Okay. How's it look?
Looks like the generator battery's dead.
So that's the whole mystery. Another.
Perhaps. I would
Hopefully.
have thought there's some pumps that run off 12 volt batteries in here. I don't know why the alarm didn't go off though. We have an alarm that tells us when this battery gets weak.
Well, an alarm did go off up there.
No, I mean it doesn't shut the hell up when this battery gets weak. So I'm not sure exactly why that didn't take place.
Unless it went off and we weren't here and it totally died.
Well, I'll tell you what. If this battery's dead, the generator's not going to start when I try to start it right now. Nothing. Okay. Time to hook up that battery charger I took off.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we had some battery problems on the Carver. It looked like our charger went, so I borrowed the charger from our generator and took it over there. I didn't think the battery was going to go dead in a couple of weeks, but maybe there's something else in here running off 12 volts I'm not aware of. So I'm going to hook the battery charger back up. That should solve the problem as long as the battery's still good. So we'll see what happens.
And we have an hour and a half before we're supposed to depart.
Yep.
So, eek.
Okay, well, here goes nothing. First time since November. Again, here.
Try it again.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's looking good. A little bit of condensation, a little bit of gray smoke. That's to be expected. It's been sitting 6 months. How's that do?
Good. Real good.